G'day, g'day. Okay, so we've had a whole heap of rain here in the last few weeks, and it's a lot more than I actually thought. So I was debating whether or not I was going to put the plastic hothouse material up just to stop the rain. Turns out I think it's a good idea. We're expecting another 2 weeks worth of intense rain. Now my bathtub has been sitting out here and it was empty at 3 days and it was full. I emptied it again 4 days and it was full, so a lot of water. But what that's meant for the aquaponics system is that all of that extra water that was being dumped into the system, it's diluted all of the nutrients from the fish. So this is the nitrate test, and it should be a lot oranger. I'm shaking a little bit here. That's okay, that's how it is. That should be a lot oranger. That's something that's less than 5 parts per million. It needs to be up around the 40 or higher parts per million, but not too high. So that was one of the main reasons of me wanting to put the cover up, was to make sure that I stopped getting the water diluted as much. Now, the way I've got my system designed, which I have shown in different videos, is I have an overflow outlet in the sump, so that if a whole heap of water comes in, the water will go out of the sump at a certain level, so it doesn't flood the rest of the system. Okay, so that's my design. I've got a couple of little tweaks and quirks within my system that, I can see fish, that allow for, that the water won't drop too much in certain areas and all that sort of stuff. So that's one thing that you need to be aware of, with too much rain, is that your water can start getting diluted. Now, we here in Australia, we know that the importance of rain, because we end up, I have bees here, distracted by wildlife around here at the moment. Sorry, I've got mousies over there, and I've got birdies there, and I've got bees there. And I can see a butterfly and a birdie there too. Wildlife everywhere. In Australia, we're used to the droughts, and we're used to having to struggle for water, so it's great when we can actually get our aquaponic system filled up a little bit. So that part's great, but it was getting to the point of, if my bathtub, which is 250 odd litres, was filling up in 3 days, my aquaponic system was going to get a lot more than that, okay? And that has been showing in the water quality testing that I've been doing, just to keep an eye on everything. So with the cover up, that's going to minimise the amount of water coming in here. So that's awesome. Now, I wanted to quickly show you, I've needed to also add a little bit of iron, which is something that we do need to add, because that's not in any of the fish food or anything else that's happening. But you can tell by, can you see on that angle? You got the dark green veins and the lighter on the outside of your plants. So that's what I've seen with some of them. The basil and some of the silver beet is doing the same thing. So I added the iron yesterday, so that's going to start to take effect anytime soon now. But again, because of all of the water that's come in there, even though I did add some iron a few weeks ago, it's just washed out. Okay? It does happen, can't do anything about it, except put a cover up and cater for that. And that was one of the reasons why, for me, it was important to build the frame for any type of roofing before I built the aquaponics system. Okay, so I was prepared that I might need to put a hothouse cover on, or that I might need to put a shade cloth on, depending on what the weather here is going to do. So I wasn't really expecting the plastic up there until winter, because it's, to keep the heat in over winter. But we're coming into the storm time, and yeah, I'm from a different state, so it still does take me a bit of time to get used to it. If you have your aquaponics system in an undercover area, or inside in your basement or anything like that, you don't have to worry about that aspect, but you do have to worry about other things like pollinating things yourself. So now I've got the covering up, I feel much better. So the heap of storms that are scheduled to come in, it's not going to dilute my system anymore. So I'm really happy about that. And I just want to show you before we go, and hopefully I can get the angles right, but here are all of the different seeds over the last few days, actually, that I've just literally thrown and dropped in. And they're doing awesome. I'm thrilled. And I can also see here a caterpillar is feasting here. So that's because I haven't been out this morning to check on anything. I came out and threw some food into the fish tank, and that was about it. So I'm about to do a video with my diving camera of the fish. Just who doesn't love seeing the fish? But as I can see some caterpillars, I'm also going to get them out too.